Hey everybody, Teresa here from Inspiration Cards, and today I'm going to be sharing a fun technique card called the Folding Element Technique. It's a super easy technique and definitely something different that I haven't done before, and it's a great way to use up those scraps of patterned paper or designer series paper that you know we all crafters have laying around our craft space. All right, so without any further ado, let me flip this around and I will show you what I'm crafting today. So here's a sample of the Floating Element Technique card. So as you can see, I used some of the just recently retired Celebration Silver and Gold Designer Series paper. And I paired that with the Penguin Place bundle. So I used the Penguin Builder punch to create this cute little dude here. And then I split up one of the sentiments so that I could actually have it fit in this stitched rectangle die as opposed to having it go lengthwise. So for today's card, I'm going to be using the spruced up stamp set and dies. And I'm going to be also using the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper. If you haven't checked out this returning favorite, I highly encourage you to do so. I love it. It was something I had my eye on last year and just didn't end up getting it. So I'm so glad that it came back so I could snatch some up. All right, so we're going to be using a combination of Evening Evergreen and then just pulling in from some of the Designer Series paper a little bit of Soft Succulent as well in terms of our pieces. So to get us started, go. Let's just fold that card base in half. All right, so that is all set. And instead of stamping a sentiment or image on the inside, I'm actually going to add some of the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper on the inside of the card. So I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal. Here we go. And so I'm just going to line up the corners along the bottom there. And that will take it straight up. There we go. So a little something different. Again, a great way to use up some of those scraps of Designer Series paper that, of course, we never quite know what to do with. All right. So before I get to our floating element pieces, let's stamp our phrase. So I've used one of the other stitched rectangle dies. And I'm going to pair two stamps together here. So the Merry and Christmas. And I'm going to fit them as close together as I can. So that way, right, the gap on either end of the stamp, that'll kind of make that natural space in between the words. And there's my Evening Evergreen ink. So let's just flip that open. So that'll just fit on the inside. Just gently going to tap that onto my ink pad and then just press firmly down onto your cardstock. There we go. I'm just going to leave that to dry, and let's close this up before I end up with my fingers in the ink. All right, and so here are the scraps that we're going to use for this card. So as you can see, I'm using two different designs from the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper pack. It's actually the same sheet. I'm just flipping it over. And I took one of the largest layering circles dies, one of the plain ones, to just cut that out like that. All right, so I'm just gonna lay these out. Not exactly where I want them. I'm okay if they shuffle a little bit, but just to give me an idea. And these are all going to get popped up with dimensionals. So I just want to make sure I actually have my, right, it's a circle, but you know, because it's strips, I want to make sure I actually have it straight. There we go. And more or less in the center. There we go. So I'm going to start in the center. And all these strips here are 1/2 inch in width. Length doesn't matter quite so much because you're just going to use your layering circle dies to create your circle, or you could always switch up the shape for a different one if you like. Kind of like the idea of the circle. Here we go. All right, so from here, doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure you put on plenty of dimensionals, because you wouldn't want any of your strips kind of sagging down in the center or off the sides. There we go. Especially not if you're planning on mailing it. There we go. All right, and for these smaller strips, I'm actually going to use just a couple of these edge pieces. I always use every last bit of adhesive foam from my Stampin' Dimensionals sheet. Right, that's still good foam and adhesive, right? All right. And plus on, right, if you don't have any of the mini dimensionals, then those edge pieces will be perfect. And there we go. Again, just peel those papers off the back. And so I'm leaving a little bit of a gap in between each strip. How big a gap is completely up to you. I don't want too big a gap. But you do want enough that you can see a little bit of separation, so you can kind of differentiate between the different pieces of pattern paper. Go, and our last one. And again, I'm just going to use a couple of those edge pieces. All right, so there are our bits of designer series paper. So let's finish this off. So I've got a couple of die cut trees. So this is from, so that stamp is from the Spruced Up stamp set. And then of course I've used the coordinating dies to cut these out. And the one thing I love about these dies is that when you cut out a solid one, you're also left with an outline of your tree as well. So I have actually a nice pile of just outlines of trees. So when I do my Christmas tags this year, there will be lots of cute little tree outlines on my tags. All right, so I'm just gonna layer this on top of my designer series paper, and that guy's gonna get layered right on top of that one. So I'm just using my Stampin' Seal for that. go. And that's just a straight up piece of soft succulent cardstock. And then the Merry Christmas is just gonna go right over top. So I'm just gonna add dimensional down in this corner. Oh, look at that. And then a little bit of Stampin' Seal. All right, and that's gonna go right here on top. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside so we can attach these all. I'm just gonna quickly go around my corners. There we go. And I'm gonna be very careful when I add my adhesive here. Now, if you want, you can always stick this on to your card base before you add on your strips. Or if you do like I do, just be gentle. There we go. And to top it off, since it's just a piece of basic white, I'm just gonna add in a few festive pearls. And I love these. They're so pretty. And we'll do one more down here. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed today's Floating Element Technique card. It's such a fun and easy card to make. If you want to check out my other cards and project ideas, you can check out my blog, inkspirationcards.com, or you can follow me on social media. You can find me at Inkspiration Cards on both Facebook and Instagram. And if you ever have any questions about Stampin' Up, paper crafting, scrapbooking, or anything like that, I'm happy to answer them. Drop them in the comments below, or you can send me an email at inkspirationwiththeresa@gmail.com. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and share so others can enjoy this card as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.